Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors, shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made for waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service, LLC, prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC. Welcome back to the channel. This week we got a guest on. It's not his first time on the channel, so he's a repeat guest. Glad to have Mr. Tyler back from Duck Creek Decoys with the Flashback 2 Decoy. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk about the Flashback, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, yeah. I have had some time recently to play with this thing, and we'll definitely discuss this on the upcoming here shortly. But how you been? You been doing good?
Yeah, I've been good. You know, I've got 2 little boys that are 10 and 12, and that keeps me busy during the summer, but been traveling a lot, going to some shows, and it's been a good summer. But I'm ready to get into fall here and start up with the passion again.
Me too. I cannot wait. How was your season last year?
You know, our season last year was decent. It was kind of a strange one. We didn't get a lot of the cold weather that we normally get until way late in the season. And but, you know, for whatever reason here in Colorado, at least, we were shooting a lot of big ducks, a lot of mallards and stuff early in the season, which is kind of a rarity. So I don't know what caused it, but we'll take it when we can get it.
When's y'all season start again?
It starts mid-October usually, and goes through the end of January. We're blessed with a nice long season. There's a split or 2 in there for a couple weeks, but we got a great season. You know, I've got a little farm or laboratory that I hunt on and test the decoy on, and that's on the South Platte River. And typically we really
start hunting some teals for a small window, but man, I'm ready to start shooting at some birds with wings on it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, you seeing any doves or teal around there yet? Or
Oh yeah,
yeah, good,
doves are super hot. I got
nice.
some millet out back, and I'm probably gonna cut it in about a week or two. Get it on the ground. But where I live, you got a better chance of it snowing to see a teal. We're gonna have to travel to the coast probably 3 hours to teal hunt. Early teal season here, yeah, I doubt that anybody will scratch one off. You're gonna have to travel. But
Yeah,
hey,
we get some teal here. You know, we'll go out and shoot a few teal, but you know, it's a tough season. It's hot. It's you got wasps, you got bugs. You know, it's just a. I kind of view it as a good dry run for the real season coming, but I think things get much more enjoyable after that first frost, which hopefully
oh yeah,
comes before the mid-October time.
yeah, definitely. I hope again this year we have some cold weather. This year I think was our best weather that we had temperature wise. The ringnecks and divers that we had was amazing. That I have never seen that many around. So who
Yeah,
knows?
I've been going to a lot of shows, and that's what people said. People said that they had a really good year last year with that. What do they call that? An Arctic vortex or something that came down,
Yeah,
and you guys were
that
seeing
art.
some snow and some ice and that kind of thing. So that's good. That's good. Much rather hear that than people saying that those birds never made it down the flyway.
Yeah, and I know when I was trying to get you back on, you were going to shows and stuff, but you just came back from the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I was down at the Delta Waterfowl Expo in Baton Rouge.
How was it?
Unbelievable event. I was super impressed with the Delta staff and everybody who was down there. And, you know, some of the booths down there were just incredible. It's just good to talk to hunters and get the pulse of what's going on out there. But I was very impressed. The people of Baton Rouge are really friendly, decent people. Unbelievable event. If you ever get a chance to go to it, I highly recommend it. I think next year it's in Oklahoma, but I don't know if they're going to keep shifting it around or what the deal is. But Baton Rouge was very welcoming and just a great place.
Did you eat anything good?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, when you're from Denver, you get to the coast, you take advantage of that, and I like to slam down some seafood when I'm out there near the coast. So I was asking people who came up to the booth where was the place to go, and we hit some of those restaurants, and yeah, unbelievable. Didn't disappoint whatsoever.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to look forward to is where we're going to eat.
Yeah.
As long as I don't run out of Scooby snacks while I'm hunting, I can hunt all day. But once I run out of Scooby snacks, I'm ready to go.
Well, we have unbelievable steaks here in Colorado. Obviously, you know, we raise a lot of cattle, and beef's a big industry here. So it's the surf part of the surf and turf that we struggle a little bit. So it's nice to get some fresh seafood anytime I'm down there. Yeah, I did take a trip to the Keys this year for my 50th birthday, and we did some fishing down there, and we view that as kind of a meat run for us up here because we're starved when it comes to the really good seafood. So bringing back some mahi was a nice way to end the summer.
I guarantee that. I mean, I can believe it. I love. If I had to pick, I would have a tough decision if I could only pick one type of meat. I don't know if I would pick steaks or shrimp. If I could only pick one to eat the rest of my life, I would have a tough decision between steak or shrimp.
Yeah, I'd have to go with steak, but lobster's a second on the list for sure. And then, you know, some of these crawfish dishes are unbelievable too. I was at Callpalooza in Stuttgart, and they had a food truck there that did these crawfish fries that, man, I wrote home about those. Those were unbelievable. So, yeah, definitely take advantage of the food that coastal areas specialize in when I'm down there.
So the main topic that I got you on for is your Flashback 2 decoy. Obviously, the one right here on the corner here. I know that there's right here that I'm holding in my hand is a new battery pack. Let's talk about it. What you got going on? What's changed in the past year? Because I know this is slightly new.
Yeah, so RD, I got to tell you, so the bane of my existence as a motion decoy maker has been batteries, right?
Right.
We pride ourselves in everything that we can possibly get from the U.S. being made in the U.S. And you can't get a lithium battery that's made in the United States for whatever reason that's cost effective. So that was giving me fits, just the quality of our batteries prior to going with that new power anchor that you have there. It was giving me fits. And the other thing is we put those lithium batteries previously in a dry box, and it had, kind of some flimsy wires and that kind of thing. It was tough to fight with in the dark on a cold morning. So we wanted to make it a lot better, and we're always improving at Duck Creek. And so what we did is I've got a patent pending on a process where we encapsulate that lithium battery. And, just to take a step back, we're now getting our batteries from a firm in Boston that at least oversees the quality in the factories overseas for those lithium batteries. So no more dud batteries with flashbacks. So we're pleased with that. We're pleased to be working out of Boston instead of working direct with China. Just improves the quality of our products so much, and that's what we're all about.
So did you pick Boston only to go eat the lobster and the crab and the shrimp?
Yeah, that's part of it. I got yet to make a trip out there, but those guys come and see me, and they bring batteries, some high quality batteries when they do. But there will be a day where I hit them up for a lobster roll sandwich or something out there. But yeah, we're pleased with the power anchor. We're really proud of it. That thing acts like a traditional decoy weight. You can drop that to the bottom of a wetland. No dry box to fight with, no seals to fight with or anything like that. It's about 14 ounces, so it's about the perfect size. We do have some areas where you can attach additional weight if you need it, if you're hunting in current. We just think it's slick. It essentially makes hunting over a flashback and hunting over motion as easy as throwing out a traditional decoy.
Right, and I didn't even notice that the first time I saw it, because I saw the cord, and then on your website, I know it, but just going to say it, you sell extension cords to make the battery pack longer for deeper water too. But I didn't even notice till earlier, right down at the bottom of the sticker, it says attach additional weight to below, and there's a hook. There's a hole right there where you can attach your weight to it. I didn't even notice that till earlier.
Yeah, we do that for a couple reasons. And, out here, we spend a lot of our time hunting in current, and you want to be able to adapt and make those decoys hold steady for you. So that's a nice feature. And then, the other reason is the other thing you can use that attachment for is if you don't feel like buying extensions, you can just zip tie that to a traditional decoy, a neighboring decoy, and that'll work just as well in your spread as sinking it to the bottom.
Yeah, I that's also true. I didn't even think about that either. You can run it almost like a long line type.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a lot of guys who hunt in the Great Lakes that, they'll hunt in 20 feet of water. They just zip tie those to a traditional decoy. It adds a little bit more motion to those traditional decoys, your neighboring spread decoys. So it's a good thing. You can get as creative with it as you want to.
So the decoy, and I made a video on it. This is definitely a bigger duck than a standard decoy, like the plastic El Cheapo decoys that you get real cheap at the box stores. I would say compared this mallard to a regular cheap decoy, it is definitely bigger. Like his head is bigger, his body is bigger. you can see this. So I'm sure from the sky, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's by design. We wanted it to be almost the size of a Magnum decoy, just so you get a little bit more flash.
Right. And
And
that's what I would compare it to, be a Magnum. That's how
yeah,
big this thing is.
yeah, and you know, it still fits in a standard decoy slot bag for
Right.
ducks, but you know, when you got motion and you're paying for motion, you want to get the most advantage out of it as possible. And having that butt end of that bigger decoy come up, you got that white flag waving, and the contrast of the black and the white really enhances that. So those birds can see it from farther away.
And I got some videos I'm going to pull up in a minute too. But I mean, the detail that's gone into this paint job, I guess you would call it a paint job, which is paint. But this is like spray-in bed liner, tough material. But even all the way down to the details of when this thing kicks up, you got the orange for the feet.
Yeah, yeah,
Right
and you know, we want the thing to be bomb-proof as possible. You know, I got tired of hunting over cheap Chinese junk that failed you. The thing is bomb-proof. You can hunt that all day long and below freezing temps, throw it in the back of your truck and fire it back up the next day without issue. So that's kind of you to say about the paint job. We're always getting better. We're always using better paints, looking for better options, and we think we've got it really high-end quality at this point.
And like you said, you can just put it in your standard decoy bag. This head, all you gotta do is just spin it on around, and now it ain't gonna get caught in anything. It can fit in a regular bag. Even it being a
Yep.
Magnum size decoy, like you said, now it takes up a whole lot less room because the head is just went inside.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's all done with magnets, so you're not going to strip the gears on the motor or anything like that, or blow out your motor. And then, you know this because you got it in your hands, but we pride ourselves on, if there is a mishap, you know, one thing I've found is all different hunters treat their equipment differently. So if there is a mishap, your buddy shoots your decoy or falls off the back of the truck or side by side on the way in or out to the blind, you can buy a replacement part instead of buying a whole new decoy, and they essentially go together like Legos. It's really intuitive to just remove one nut and you can slide everything in and out just like puzzle pieces, and you're set to go. So
I'm gonna pull up on my screen here. I'm going to pull up your website too. Let me make the website bigger versus there we go. So duckcreekdecoys.com is where you can find the flashback 2 decoys, and you can see here that it's flipping up.
yeah,
This thing will run. Now flipping, the head flipping, how much water does it take for the head to flip? I know
so
it'll run in shallower water. We'll talk about that. But how much water does it take to make the head flip?
yeah, to do that dabbling action like that, it's about a little less than 9 inches of water it'll run.
9 inches.
Vegetation, cold water, freezing water, 9 inches, you're good.
And so we're hunting and something comes along and moss, grass, a stick or whatever starts getting up in here. The head will just keep doing like this and it'll keep on activating it. Like you said earlier, there is no gears. It's not going to strip out. I really like that. And you don't have to go out there and unstick it because it's going to continue to keep moving.
That's correct. And, you know, if it does clutch, I mean, I like to run them in thick vegetation. So it dabbles a couple times and then clutches a couple times, looks like a surface feeding decoy or surface feeding duck with its head under the water. I think the more random you can use vegetation to make that motion, the better, the more realistic it is. And you've seen the ripples that this thing kicks off. It kicks off very realistic ripples. Doesn't look like a contraption out there, RD. You know, it's just, I don't think there's anything more realistic on the market.
What I really liked about it, and I got it pulled up here too, is a video that I just did on this when the kids were in the swimming pool, and I took it, but I want to hit play, and then I'm gonna stop it. There ain't gonna be no sound, so it'll just be us talking. But this first little part here, I'm gonna play it and then stop. Right here. This what blew my mind the first time I saw it. I had the phone under the water because iPhone can go down a couple feet of water without tearing it up. But I'm gonna play it again. I saw it when I got it. It has 2 holes in the back of the head. Okay, is that for making it lighter? No, it's not making it lighter. This is part of you talking about making it look real life. Is with these bubbles, it looks like they're blowing. I've had real ducks. They're constantly spitting and feeding and making bubbles and stuff coming out. That's like a real live duck here.
Yeah, that's what we were shooting for. That's flattering to you to say that. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to emulate a real feeding duck.
I didn't see that until I was recording it that day. That these holes actually have a function, like they have a job to do.
Yeah, and they also allow a lot of water in there, so it gets that slam down under the surface like a duck will do when it's reaching for food at the bottom of the wetland. So right. Yeah, we think we nailed the action for sure. We're pretty proud of it, and guys crush ducks over it. Guys swear by it. So,
I mean, at first, like I said, when I took the cord out and I took that cord, I'm like, well, that's not going to be that deep. But I took it and put it in like 5 foot water, and I'm like, this thing is still going at 5 foot. No, not even knowing that what this little hole meant. Like I said, I didn't even see that attached for more weights right there. I didn't even see that till recently.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we tried to think of everything. Duck hunting's my passion, and I wanted a decoy that I'd be proud to hunt over, proud to use, and this is what came out. So we think we thought of everything. Ice doesn't give it problems. The worst case scenario with this is if you're hunting in minus 20-degree temps and it starts kicking up with ice. Just like your traditional decoy, you hold it underwater for a couple rotations, that ice comes off and you're back up and running again. So we wanted to be practical in just about every hunting situation out there.
How long? Yeah, we're not going to get that cold in South Carolina, that's for sure. But how long does a typical battery last?
So it'll depend on the air temperature, but I kind of am conservative on this, but 9 hours. We got a lot of guys that swear that they run theirs for 12 without having to recharge it. It charges in about 6 hours. So again, wanted to make it compatible where if somebody's going to Canada and spending time in a camp where they don't have access to electricity or whatever, they could get a 2-day hunt out of this thing without having to recharge it.
Right. And I'll pull back up on the website here too. You were talking about on the shop part, the replacement parts, and you have a bunch of videos on there showing how to replace the head, how to replace that motor and stuff, and then replacement body. But I'm telling you, I could see that head maybe getting shot, but whoever could shoot through that bed liner of a body, I would imagine, but there's a lot of parts that might have to be replaced, but I swear I don't think that body, unless it just got ran over by a truck.
We've heard some stories. We get a lot of guys that drop them off the back of their side-by-side and they're dragging behind for a couple miles, that kind of stuff. So then all you got to do is buy a new body and you're back up and running again. And I've heard all the stories, RD, that's for sure. So we just want to make something that's bomb-proof, a step above everything else that's out there. There's something to be said for hunting over something that's easy to use and eloquent. And, we cherish the time we get to spend in a blind. The last thing we want to do is fight with a motion decoy.
That's right. And I mean, literally when you plug it in, it comes on. I mean, there ain't no on off switch. I mean, as soon as you plug it in, throw it in the water and go.
Yeah, and again, that's by design. We didn't want any more spots where water could permeate it or do anything and ruin it. So that connector acts like the on-off switch. And here's a tip for guys who hunt over them. And I put out a couple videos on this front. But if you charge up the battery the night before, and then keep your decoys, keep your flashbacks in like a 6-slot or 4-slot duck decoy bag. Attach the battery cable to the duck side of it or decoy side of it the night before. And then when you're ready to hunt in the morning, just slam those two together all the way till the electrical connection is established and throw it out. You're ready to hunt.
I can't wait, because I've tried the little vibrating ripple things, and most of the time you have to go back to the jerk string. But if you like me, and I do a lot of hunting out of kayaks, I lost my jerk string. It was, bungee. I was trying to tie it up, and the bungee part took off, and it's at the bottom of the water.
Yeah.
So
that'll ruin your day for sure. But yeah, that stuff happens when you're out hunting all the time. And that's why we came up with the power anchor, just one less thing to fight with or to struggle with. That, like I said, that power anchor acts like a traditional decoy weight, and all you're doing is attaching it, screwing on the cover, and away you go. So,
it's got a pretty good weight to it, like you said. I don't know how much it weighs, but
yeah, it weighs in at about 14 ounces. So most wetland scenarios, even lake scenarios, that thing's going to keep your decoy steady for sure. You're not going to lose your expensive motion decoy that way.
Especially considering probably most of our decoys only have like a small ounce lead on it. They're not very heavy at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up hunting in Minnesota, big water and, bigger lakes and stuff. And we could get some wind whipping. And that's, when the weather turns crummy like that, that's when you want to be out hunting. So I wanted to make sure there was enough weight to it where those guys who hunt big lakes and stuff don't have to be out there chasing decoys when it's blowing 40 miles an hour.
Absolutely. I have chased decoys. I've seen them going towards the bank, and I said, well, I get them after the hunt, because they ain't going to go no further than a bank, like in a small reservoir. But yeah, you looking out there on a foggy morning. Well, I was wondering, I put out more than that. Where did they all go to?
Yeah. Well, like I said, we hunt the Platte River here, and every once in a while you'll get a decoy floating down from somebody else's spread up river of you. And I've got a couple of decoys at least with other people's initials on them that I was never able to find them. But that's part of it. You want that thing to really function well and stay steady for you.
Yeah, definitely. Got a couple of comments in the chat thing going on.
Yeah.
Jay Bird from Georgia, he wanting to know, you got anything other than some mallards? I know you got mallard, you got the drake, and you got the hen, and I know you got some black ducks.
Yeah. We are also going to be coming out before the season. We will post it on our website or put it up on our website. We're going to be coming out with a pintail drake. And we're excited about that. That coincides well with California possibly opening up their bag limits a little bit on pintails. And to be perfectly honest, I've spent a lot of hours in marshes and wetlands staring at these things. And that big white belly of that pintail drake is going to be spectacular for flagging in ducks. So we're fired up about it. Look for those to be on our website before October. Follow us on Instagram. I'll make an announcement a few days ahead of time. I'm expecting them to go really fast. We've been really fortunate. People are really excited about that pintail. So,
did you have it at the show?
Yeah, I did. I did have one in the tub at the show, and I got talked into selling it to a gentleman there before the end of the show. So he came back right at the end of the show and grabbed that one up. But that was a prototype, and now we're in the process of manufacturing a bunch of them. But we're excited. I think that's really going to work and you know, I don't think you necessarily have to use that pintail drake on pintails. I think just that white flash of that belly coming up like a duck searching for food, or a duck feeding like that is going to be spectacular no matter what flyway you hunt.
Yeah, and I know probably what Jay was looking for. He probably looking for some wood ducks too.
Yeah, we're not to the wood ducks yet, but when I was in Baton Rouge at the Delta Expo, boy, we got inundated for requests for gray ducks or gadwalls. So that might have to be the next one on the list that we take on.
Gray ducks are some pretty ducks. They some good eating too.
Yeah, they make me feel like a good duck hunter up where I'm at in the flyway here. They decoy nicely, and it'd be fun to see what they would do with a gray duck version of the flashback.
I know here for South Carolina and where he's at in Georgia, by the time that the birds make it to South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, they have been shot over thousands of times by the time they make it to us. They done seen every decoy spread. They done seen every mojo. We quit putting out mojos because it 100% like it flares them. Like, I mean, they done seen it in every state that they done flew over. So this, I can't wait to even test it this year because, like you said, that butt moving is something that's going to be new to them that they haven't seen in our area.
Yeah, and I'm never going to talk trash about a competitor that's out there doing the same thing I am, essentially. But you know, spinning wing decoys have their place. I think there's hyper effective in field hunts, and that's great. And there's other people out there making some other stuff to, you know, add to their realism over water. But
Absolutely,
I've found here in Colorado, at least where I hunt, that the flashbacks action is much more of a lure than some of the other stuff that's out there. We think our realism is top of the line, and I just don't think they're ever going to catch on to it because they're looking for those feeding ducks, those preening ducks like that, and you know, they want to get at that food source if they see those feeding ducks down there.
right. And I can use this one as a reference. My buddy found this. He said it was my Christmas present, but I didn't get it till about 3 weeks ago. This is a cork butt decoy, just just an old traditional decoy. But the companies that make these butt decoys, kind of like what yours is doing up in the air, but they got motors on them, and any kind of duckweed, it's gonna suck that duckweed up in there. This ain't gonna make no difference with duckweed because even if it did get caught up in the head, it's still just gonna keep on bobbing.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. You know,
there's no moving part.
A lot of the duck hunting takes
Gear-wise.
place. A lot of duck hunting takes place in vegetation. You know, up in Arkansas, there's a lot of rice fields. Texas, there's a lot of flooded fields. Illinois, there's a lot of flooded corn. You got to be able to run that stuff in vegetation and not fight with it. So that's what we wanted to do, and we think we got it down.
Especially the ones that even got any kind of motor that blows water, any type like that. It's just a pump. And I know 100% all of the ponds that I'm going to hunt at in early season right now is covered in duckweed.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, there's a place for every tool in the toolkit, right? But right. We think that we've got the best tool and the most versatile tool out there.
So Daniel says jerk rigs suck, and I tend to agree on that. I've fought with my days of jerk rigs for sure. And then Jay asked, was the black duck the same size as the mallard?
Yes, they're all the same size. They're just slightly smaller than a normal Magnum decoy.
I'm gonna pull that back up because up under the shop it does show. Obviously, I got the Drake here that I was showing. The hen mallard, and then the black duck. The kids must be still. The kids must be
Oh,
stealing my internet.
that's all right. I know what that's like. Hey, yeah, there it is. And the
There it
nice
is.
thing about that black duck is got a lot of guys who hunt with those instead of hens. That contrast to that darker body on a cloudy day really shows up nice. Whether you're hunting in a part of the flyway that's got black ducks in it or not. Guys, they're extremely popular, just as popular as hens for sure. So take a look at that black duck if you're interested in buying a flashback. It's got its place whether or not you shoot a lot of black ducks or not. I don't know. A black duck's always been one of my bucket list ducks. When I grew up in Minnesota, if somebody shot a black duck, it was a story that made the newspaper. And now they're coming back a little bit from what I understand, but I've never had the opportunity to kill a black duck at this point. So that's one that's on the list for me.
It's on my list too. But people that have black ducks up in like New York and all up there in the Marshalls, they like, man, we shoot black ducks every day. About like us shooting wood ducks. There's a lot of states that don't have wood ducks. And then like you talking about pintails with California, man, them people go out and shoot pintails like every day, where, like you said, you shoot a pintail in South Carolina, it's going to make the newspaper.
Yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
Absolutely.
We see that a lot from our customers, but yeah, especially those guys in New York. Those guys are like, come out here, we'll kill black ducks all day long. But I'll tell you one that we got that was kind of a cool duck to shoot this year out here was a Mexican mallard. Have you ever heard of those?
Right.
Apparently
they're supposedly moving up more, right?
Yeah, it must be, because I was hunting with a custom call maker friend of mine, Jonathan Hill, with Pied Piper Calls. He was out at my farm and he shot this Mexican mallard, and I guess they're out of the Sonora Valley in Mexico. Really cool looking duck. It almost looks like kind of either a hybrid or a molted duck, but a little bit of green on the side of the head. It was just a really cool looking duck. Unfortunately, he didn't leave that one in my freezer, so he took it to the taxidermist back in Illinois. But that was kind of a thrill this year for us to see that.
I hear a lot of people in Texas and Oklahoma talking more about whistling tree ducks now. I don't know if y'all got any whistling tree ducks started coming y'all's way yet.
Haven't seen any of those to this point, but we're seeing more snow geese along the Front Range, and we're seeing the occasional speck, as you guys like to call them, which is a rarity for us. So, that's one of the interesting things about duck hunting is all the different species you see and how it changes through a lifetime of duck hunting. Stuff moves in, stuff moves out. I know when I go back home where I was raised in Minnesota, I mean, again, if you saw a swan, it would make the evening news. Now you can't throw a dead cat without hitting a swan. They're everywhere. So that's kind of fun to see all that stuff coming back strong. I think that says a lot about conservation and hunting.
Well, it has a lot to do with conservation and them changing the rule. The rules on limit bags, that's got a lot to do with it. But I think, like you said too, they're moving around. They're following the food, and they're following not getting pressured. So,
yeah,
like you said, you're starting to see specks. They say when the specks show up, the geese leave. Well, the geese are going to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
they got to eat too.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get rid of our resident population of Canada's here. It's pretty thick. You go down to City Park here in Denver, boy, no matter what time of year, it's covered up with Canada's. So it's a great thing. It's a hell of a resource. But like I said, one man's trash is another's treasure. I don't shoot as many Canadas as I used to, even though we have a lot of opportunities to do that. But I don't know. For me, it's still the thrill of a big, fat, grain-fed Drake Mallard.
Geese are probably my favorite, and then it would probably be divers. But I love geese. I love to hear them far away. I mean, you could just hear them. I mean, I like them, and I like to eat geese. I make jerky out of them. Some of these people that cook straight geese like a steak, I don't know about that, but as jerky, I love it.
Yeah, jerky's great. Jerky, sausage. Yeah, we got guys doing all kinds of stuff with them out here. So, yeah, I shoot a few for the dog if we're having a slow day, but we're blessed out here. We get a lot of Canadas up and down that river. So, yeah, if you ever want to come out and shoot some Canadas, Colorado's a good place to do it. The Front Range is a good place to do it.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever been to Colorado. Texas was the furthest I ever been west. I am going to Oklahoma this year, but that's about as far as I've traveled so far.
I haven't hunted Oklahoma, but I've heard spectacular things about it.
I'm trying to chase that pintail.
Nice. Well, you have to get one of our. You'll have to get one of our Drake pintail flashbacks then.
If I could get a pintail and scratch off a widgeon, the only two birds that can fly, I'll be happy. We can pack it up and come home. All I want is the two birds, and something to eat. Let's take it back.
So you guys don't see a lot of widgeons where you're at either, huh?
No, we don't see no widgeons.
We get a lot of those in too. They're fun to shoot. They're fun to see.
Yeah. Them smaller birds are quick too.
Yeah, they make an ass out of you with a shotgun in your hands for sure.
Oh, absolutely. A wood duck and a teal. Oh man, they're worse than a dove. I mean, a dove, you think you could shoot, and then dove season comes around. Dove season for us is just a preview of getting ready for waterfowl season.
Nice. So where are you going? So you're gonna hunt right on your property there for doves then?
Yeah, for doves, yep. I'll hunt right on my property.
That's cool. It's a great tune-up for the dog. They're great to eat.
That's right.
It's a great sport, and like I said, they'll make an ass out of you with a shotgun. They'll humble you a little bit. So
they will humble you real quick.
Yeah, it's good practice wing shooting right there.
It sure is, and make some good food too. We take our doves and put them in a crock pot. My mama makes it with some gravy over some rice. I don't ever get none because my mother gets my kids right after school.
Yeah.
And my daughter will eat all of the dove before I ever get off work. Like my mama has to put some back. If not, my daughter will eat all of the dove. And it takes a slew of doves to make a meal anyway.
Yeah, well, it's good work if you can get it, feeding those kids doves. That's awesome. A lot of people fight with their kids to eat anything. So enjoy that while it lasts.
Yeah. Dove with that gravy and rice. Oh, man. It won't be long.
Nice.
So what other, you got any more shows you're going to this year before the season kicks off?
We're going to be I know this is about as far away from South Carolina as possible, but we're going to be at Kittle's calling contest. Kittle's is a big sporting goods store, waterfowl store in Colusa, California. Their state calling contest is there. We're going to have some representation there. Some guys who work with me are going to have the decoys there. They're going to be showing off those new pintails. So people are excited about that. And then, it's all about making decoys as fast and as good as we can here from here till the end of the season. And then we'll start up with shows next year. One that I'm bummed that I missed was the Anoka County Game Fair in Anoka, Minnesota. That's another big one that people really enjoy. So we're going to try and make that one next year. We'll definitely work with Delta to do theirs. The show season's pretty much over. It's time to pick up a shotgun.
It won't be long. It won't be long. This is almost where the rubber meets the road at. We've been talking about duck hunting since the last day of duck hunting. So it's almost that time.
Nice. Are you all set to go? You got all your equipment ready to go and everything's accounted for?
Eric, if you said let's go tomorrow, son, I wouldn't even go to sleep. That's how ready I am.
Nice. Maybe it's because of the business I work in, but I always feel like I'm a day late and $1 short getting everything lined out and ready to go. But
Now I'm definitely a dollar short now.
Yeah. Right.
But this year I got into reloading probably right after waterfowl season. I started reloading lead first, just skeet loads. And I'm not gonna say I got a professional by any means, but I got better at reloading. So I then went down the rabbit hole of creating my own TSS steel duplex load. And probably the past 2 months, I've been hammering on getting that worked out. I sent it off for pressure testing, and all that came back. I've been doing pattern testing. So I think I got all the kinks worked out of it. So now I really got to start loading my own shells for this season. But I got enough bismuth if I needed to fall back on something. But this year, I really hope that TSS really ups my game.
Well, that's impressive that you're able to mad scientist that together, because that's
I did
that
have some
is
help
science for sure.
Yeah, I did have some help. I got a guy that comes on once a month too, from Salt Creek. He's out almost out there near you, but that Salt Creek Ammo, he's got a Facebook group and with reloaders, and I'll call him up and bounce some stuff off his head. And his main goal was to keep all 10 fingers, and so far I still got all 10 fingers.
Yeah, that's it, right? That's the key right there. But
That's right.
no, that's you're no slouch if you're putting that stuff together. That's there's a real science to that, and God bless those good shell companies that make that stuff, because it makes me a much better hunter.
And that's one of the processes, people don't really take in consideration. Like, I started this messing around with the reloading. You can look at a shell and say, okay, well, it's got to have this pellet in there, but you don't know which. Does the TSS go on top? Does the TSS go on bottom? Which wad does it work better with? Which powder does it work better with? There's recipes out on the websites, people's websites, and they give you recipes, but they're just close. They don't give you all the details.
Yeah.
And that's why I sent it off to get pattern tested. And it costs $75 to pattern test, and then $15-$20 to ship the thing. So I almost got $100 just in powder testing. So, that's the reason why people don't give out their secrets.
Yeah, I get it. There are some companies doing some cool stuff out there, like Pattern Pros and that kind of thing. So,
right.
So the guy who is like me and is buying it off the shelf or buying it through a website can check out how it works with their gun and their choke. But yeah, they're doing great stuff, man. We're entering a new kind of golden age of waterfowl ammunition, I feel like, between all the different types that are available out there. And, it's just like decoys. Use what works the best and what you can afford.
That's right. And I had the Pattern Pros on here before, and I'm like, and that's something that should have been, that's what I've done before. I bought ammo. You see it and you buy it and you put it in your gun, and it's terrible. And it's like, I ain't buying that no more. At least Pattern Pros, you buy a couple of boxes and you're going to have this brand, this brand, this brand, this brand, and what works for your gun, because what works for me might not work in your gun.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way where you can kick the tires without spending a couple $100 on ammunition that you're never going to use again. So those guys are doing cool stuff over there. I applaud them for it. That choice of shot or the type of shell that you use is a big conservation tool. It makes a huge difference. I personally started shooting Boss ammunition a couple seasons ago, and I see far less cripples. But there's still days, obviously, where it feels like I need to get my eyes checked. But using a good brand of ammo is a big part of getting your ducks, for sure.
Yeah. I'm getting to that. I ain't too far. You said you turned 50. I'm not terribly too far behind you. 45 is creeping pretty quick. And, some days I wondered that myself too. I'm like, man, should I get glasses? Because in them early morning, and you probably here with me, in them early morning, right at shooting time, be like, oh, here comes a duck. Nope, that's just a floater.
Yeah. That and Tweety birds and everything else. I'll tell you a cool story, or actually kind of an embarrassing story, but a couple seasons ago, at least 2 seasons ago, maybe it was 3 seasons ago, God, we got into the thick of the season where we're really shooting a lot of birds typically, and I just couldn't hit anything. I couldn't figure it out. Tried switching guns, doing all the stuff that we do, switching ammo. When you're just in a dry spell or in a slump like that, and couldn't figure out why I wasn't hitting anything. I've hunted my whole life, so I don't claim to be the best shot, but I'm pretty good. I can hold my own usually, but I was getting ridiculed in blinds and everything else. And turns out one day I came home and took my contacts out. I wear contact lenses, and I had 2 contacts in one eye and no contact in the other eye. So I don't even know how I was driving, nevertheless shooting. But needless to say, my shooting picked up after I sorted out that fiasco.
Double contacts. Y'all see them ducks over there? Where, man? Right over there. Them ducks are a mile away. Well, they don't look that far away.
I was out there hunting like Stevie Wonder. The guys were wondering what the hell I was doing.
That's funny. Hey, it all happens, man. It happens. My wife is only about blind like that too. I told her the other day she wears contacts. I'm like, you ought to take a pair of these glasses that you have just laying around and put in your car just in case, you at work or something and one fall out or something. You can at least drive home.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to do. I always keep a spare pair of glasses around, but yeah, it's tough being in a duck blind when you're not hitting anything and you're swinging a gun like Mr. Magoo out there, and guys just saying, "What the hell are you shooting at?"
Oh, that's funny. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you because we all done some funny stuff that goes in the blind. You know what they always say, what goes in the blind stays in the blind, but some of that stuff's hilarious.
Yeah, not with my buddies. It doesn't. You make a mistake like that, you hear about it a couple seasons later. So that's all right. That's why we do it, right?
Oh, absolutely. That right there describes waterfowl hunting right there, because you can go out there and hunt with your buddies. You pick any other thing other than maybe doves. What else can you go hunt with your buddies? You can't go do that deer hunting.
Yeah.
You're not
No, the
going to joke
social
around.
aspect is great. The social aspect of it is great, and it's fun to get a little bit test proofed by the guys in the blind every once in a while. It keeps you on your toes, keeps your game strong. So
right, that's the camaraderie, the friendship. Even when you go to guided hunts and you meet new people, everybody's got the same passion. I mean, you could go somewhere to duck hunt with somebody, and you can meet a stranger, and you got something in common.
No, that's true, and it's a great sport to participate in. It takes you to great places, and you meet great people. That's what's so great about those shows, RD. You meet some of the best people on the face of the earth at these shows that just come up and want to talk duck hunting and talk about the outdoors. It's a rewarding business to be in, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can believe it. I wanted to go to the Delta this year. I put it on the calendar with the wife, but we didn't make it this year. I told her, I said, man, this could be a great going down there and meet a lot of people. And I saw a lot of videos coming from down there.
Yeah.
Did your ears hurt from duck calls though?
Oh yeah. That's part of it. You go to bed at night hearing duck calls for sure. So that's part of it though. And I don't know. You probably made the right move by not upsetting the War Department and heading down there on your own. That's for sure. But
no,
I recommend you take your wife with you next year. Take your kids with you. There's plenty of cool stuff to see and do there. I don't know. It's just a great industry to be a part of. most of the people in the industry are wonderful to talk to, and just kind of want to see how your life's been. You know, Call-a-Palooza was a great event too, and that's, you know, most of those guys are custom call makers, but it's fun to learn about that art and the art of calling ducks and building calls, and those are some of the better people in the industry too. So either one of those shows I highly recommend. If you get the chance or the opportunity to go to, check it out.
And you know that you were talking California, a lot of people don't think California, a duck hunting, they probably kill more ducks in California than probably most other states. Like they're duck, the upper part of California, they do a lot of duck hunting.
Yeah, there's some duck predators out there for sure, but the one thing about California is their passion for it. And these guys, they live and die for duck hunting. And man, California has always been good to me as a decoy maker, as a salesperson in the industry. Phenomenally passionate people and just good people. Yeah, they've got a hell of a resource out there, and it'll be fun to see what happens with the pintails this year on the West Coast. And you know, there's no shortage of great duck hunters out there.
So how long have you been doing decoys?
I've been selling flashbacks for about 5 years.
5 years. And I would imagine if this is flashback 2, you had a version 1.
Yeah, we had a version 1. It had a different motor in it, and it didn't have that truck bed coating on it. So the motor was a little bit louder. We like to think that we got the quietest motor in the industry now. You know, it's always interesting to me. You know, 99% of duck hunters can't hear anything. Nevertheless, a little motor, but we got some suggestions that our motor needed to be quieter, so we changed it up with the Flashback 2 and retired the Flashback 1 motor. And you know, by the time the duck hears these motors, if you haven't pulled the trigger 10 times over, you got other issues going on.
Got other issues. So I'm gonna pull up my screen here again.
Yeah.
So obviously the easiest way for me to get to it while we're on here, you have your social media on your main web page, but you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Duck Creek Decoy Works, Instagram.
Yep.
And YouTube.
Yep.
And YouTube is where I was saying, you know, here you can see how to replace the parts and how to pin back the head using that notch. Which
Yeah.
I don't know you're gonna see that on that camera, but in the video you can see the notch and what the notch is for.
Yeah, so we've got 2 motions. Both are easy to choose from. You know, hunters like choice when it comes to motions. So the first motion is the dabbling motion. That's the video that you showed earlier. The duck just looking like a feeding duck, where it's submerging its head and half of its body under the water, and the butt end of it flops up. The second motion is more like a surface feeding duck or a skimming duck, where it's just got its head underwater. It just bounces around and gives you nice ripples on the water. You still get some of that flash from that white on the tail. It's a real effective motion, and guys who hunt over 2 or 3 of these will typically run a couple dabbling and a couple doing that other motion too, that surface feeding motion.
So how can people get in touch with you?
You know, the easiest thing to do is flashbackdecoys.com, but we've got our number on our website too, if you want to pull that up, and we're happy. We've got I've been fortunate to have some great customer service guys working for me. They'll pick up the phone and answer any questions you have. But flashbackdecoys.com, or just Google Flashback Decoys and you'll come to us for sure.
So here's some on your Instagram. Is this the pintail? Was that the pintail?
That's the pintail there. Those are some birdie pointers that we tricked in Baton Rouge. They were pretty keyed in on that pintail.
I bet that was driving them dogs crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like you and I were saying earlier, they make great bathtub toys for kids too. I mean, we get more kids in our booth that want to play with those things, and it's fine. They're bomb proof, so you can't mess them up.
Right. And you can see right here when his head flips, all the bubbles that come out of that.
Yeah.
I know some people joined probably after the fact that I showed that other video, but the head has holes in it to create that feeding. But you got a ton of videos on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. We, our product looks the best when you can see what it does, obviously with video. So we really try to put out as many videos as possible. My personal philosophy has always been like, make the best decoy possible, manufacture the best decoy possible. And we're great at doing that. We've got it down now. I've never been the best guy at bragging about it or marketing it. And my hope has always been that, you put a good product out there, the rest will take care of itself. And we're seeing that. So we're excited about what we're doing. We're going to always be getting a little bit better and introducing some new stuff and kind of pushing the industry along here, and hopefully always providing great products for hunters. We've got some stuff in the works that people will be excited about, but we want to bring motion to a different level.
Well, I can promise you, there ain't nobody else that I know of that's got spray on bed liner that's got paint that is. I don't know if you hear that in that mic, but that is tough.
Yeah, you'll file down your nails on that stuff.
I probably need to do that anyway. When you get dirt up under them, that's time to cut them.
Yeah.
So he already released a little upcoming. So if you didn't hear about it, he did say that a pintail was coming. So definitely be on the look out for that.
Yeah, we'll announce it on Instagram for sure. RD, we've got some passionate hunters that work for me, but we're not the biggest staff in the industry, that's for sure. So I recommend, if you want to get a hold of us through our website, the phone number on our website, or through Instagram. We check that Facebook page, but it's kind of few and far between, just because there's so much maintenance with keeping that Facebook page up to speed, and we want to concentrate on manufacturing good decoys. So hit us up. We'll answer any questions you have. Man, it's great talking with you, and thanks so much for the kind words about the flashback.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. There will be, if y'all watching, I know there's a good many in here that watch the channel all the time. There's going to be some videos on this, and I can promise you, even though it ain't a wood duck, it's going to be in the middle of my wood duck spread, because motion is motion for sure.
Oh, you'll crush wood ducks over that. Look at one of our latest Instagram videos. You'll see a bunch of video of wood ducks that we just let land and swim with it. They'll land right next to it. So you should be excited, man. You got good things ahead of you with that in your spread.
Yep. I can't wait. Well, until we talk again maybe next season, I hope you have a banger season.
Well, I hope it's before then. Hopefully we'll see you at a show or something. And we appreciate what you do for us at Duck Creek. Thanks a ton for having us on, RD.
Oh, yeah. Anything else you want to say before we leave?
No. We just appreciate the reception that the Flashback's gotten with all the guys who hunt out there. We're thrilled about where we're heading. Keep looking us up. We're always going to be coming out with newer, better products. So.
And that's a testament right there, the battery pack, because you can see over time how you improve just your battery pack.
Yeah, simpler's always better, and we think we took a bunch of steps forward with that simple battery pack. We're excited about that one. Makes life really easy in the blind before the shooting starts. So, appreciate what you do for us, RD. Thanks so much.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and just a reminder, people that listen to this on podcast, you can always go back and watch the video on YouTube. And if you watch it on YouTube, Go subscribe on podcast. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, look up RD Rentals and you'll find all kind of streaming audio on your podcast. Definitely listen to it while you're at work. That definitely help all of us out. But share this video out with all your friends. Help my man out, and man, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks a ton. I hope you kill a bunch of ducks this year. Have a good, safe season.
Absolutely. I hope that too. So, all right. Well, I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see everybody else next week, next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We'll see y'all.
Thanks, RD.